Well, I am all set up, and a buddy of mine's coming up here. We are going to try and sight in his Centerpoint Sniper 370, I think it is. Not real familiar with the Centerpoint line of crossbows. We did a video on that, of course, when we were looking at upgrades for the potential successor to Bunjie. So we did look at Centerpoint. Very interesting crossbow company. They do give you a lot of bang for your buck. There's no doubt about that. And man, did I get a lot of people who like their Centerpoint crossbows. So no question, this is going to be an exciting morning. Got the chairs set up here, and I got my Caldwell Deadshot Field Pod. You guys are familiar with that guy. I do have, of course, my Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee as well. Very important to stay lubricated and caffeinated while you are shooting crossbows in the backyard in the crossbow range. Target set up 10, 20, and 30. I like to have a 10 to start off on, but I have a feeling this thing, once it's put together, it's never been fired. So I have a feeling once it's put together, it should probably be pretty close, but it's going to need a little bit of work. So that's why I got the 10 there. In case we feel uncomfortable, we'll start at 10, start up close, make sure that it's staying somewhere in the ballpark. Then we'll stretch it out 20 and maybe 30 yards. Maybe we'll go farther. I don't know. You will find out soon. We'll both find out soon. You have a crossbow with you?
I do. Hey, check this out. I have a strap.
It is a strap. Look at that.
That came from my Thompson submachine gun.
I take it is lightly used because you haven't even opened up the stringing aid yet. Hi, Genevieve.
Hi.
This is my friend Pat Byrne. I've known this guy for over 20 years. Like my whole career as a lawyer. Before I was a lawyer, I knew this guy. So we go way back. Still work together today even. And he has a Sniper Centerpoint 370, I think that's what it's called. We have the manual here, and I gotta say the manual is as lightly used as the cocking mechanism is, because even the tag is still on that. You never fired this before, is that right?
Nope.
But you did assemble it yourself, which makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Makes me feel uncomfortable too.
So you're gonna be the guy that pulls the trigger, how's that?
Yeah, okay.
But we are gonna try this thing out. Remember when I was doing the looks at all the different crossbows, and Centerpoint is one of the companies we looked at, I mentioned that I had a friend who had a Centerpoint crossbow we could take a look at, and this is in fact the Centerpoint crossbow. This is a Specialist 370. I've been calling it a Sniper 370. Either one's a cool name, so we'll make it work. But we do have the manual. We don't need this. We're not going to play around with that. We're instead going to go straight to the lube, straight to the firing away of it. You got a ton of experience with firearms, so this isn't new to you, I'm betting, this whole concept. Am I right?
Well, I don't have to lube up the strings of my rifle, I'll tell you.
Yeah, okay. What are you going to do? All right, we're going to just, I'll look at the manual while we'll look at the manual first and make sure that scorpion venom is going to be acceptable. How's that?
It says lube it up, but I didn't get anything in the packet, I don't think.
Nothing, it didn't come with anything, huh? We've exhausted the manual, read the whole thing, so we're good, okay? We're all legit on the manual. So I've got some old scorpion venom. We're going to use that on here. Over here you can see that, again, in lightly used, the sticker's still on the rail. So we'll go through something real quick, show Mr. Burns what we got here. We got this is the shooting rail, your flight groove. That's where the arrow's going to sit in that, and one of the vanes is going to sit down in that, so it runs straight down the barrel as it goes, as you pull the trigger. These are your strings, cables. This is the serving, what they refer to as the serving, and it's served. It's wrapped up with a different manner of thread and wire that resists wear, okay? Hopefully some better than others, but hopefully that will maintain and look like that. When it starts to get all chewed up, we got to talk to somebody about replacing it maybe. This wants to be nice and lubricated on this model when you're shooting it to reduce the friction on this, the heat on this, so that it will smoothly go down there and deliver your arrow to your target. So you can start by pulling that off of there. It didn't say that in the manual.
Doesn't.
Not that I read. Maybe it does. I don't know. Oh, look at that. Came right off. We're already ahead of the game. All right. Well, we'll start by seeing if we can get this dude open. Give you one of these. What is that?
It's mine.
You wrote on it? You put
Yeah, so I
X's
can
on
tell the good one.
X's on yours? Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, we're all vaccinated.
We are all vaccinated.
Yeah.
So,
What was there a reason to get? Oh, that's right. There was a pandemic. I forgot about that.
I read about it.
I read about that. I remember that. I remember those days. You'd start by taking the cap off. Doesn't do you much good with the cap on. A couple dabs will do you.
Dabs of what?
You don't want to glob it on. Okay. Anyway, yeah, you're just gonna put a couple dabs on here, right?
Down here?
Yep. No, on the rail itself, on the smooth part.
This part?
Yep. That's probably enough.
Both sides?
Yep. Yep. Now you're gonna take your finger. It doesn't need to be in the hole. The gap. It doesn't need it in the groove.
I gotcha.
It needs
You're
to
tugging on this.
just the part that's gonna have contact with the serving. See as that goes
Okay.
down there. So I'd put a little more. Just smooth that out good. Get it on there good. Yep. Just a nice sheen. We don't need to glob it on. Doesn't need to be piled. That's enough. That's really enough. But this is the first time you've done it. You'll be all right.
You want me
yeah.
to smooth it out?
Yep. Get your fingers on here and do the whole length of it, even up in front, because it's gonna this is gonna go in here a little bit. Not the that's good. Yep, up in there a little bit. Yep, yep, and then all that in here, and then I would try and get up in there under there if you can, up under your Picatinny rail there, and to the extent that you can, because the string's gonna travel that entire area, and then that will probably suffice unless we shoot a dozen arrows today, and then next time you shoot, that will have evaporated, and you want to put a little more on here. I do like that foregrip. That's pretty sweet. We should get a shot of that, Genevieve.
What's
Show
that?
off this crossbow. Look at that foregrip.
This?
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I like that. That's pretty nice right there. Hey, you do not.
No, no.
That I know.
Yeah, these are called finger guards for a reason. Really, they should be called thumb guards.
Dad doesn't even have one on his.
I don't even have that on mine.
Okay.
But look, all my fingers. And thumbs. Okay. It happens, man. It happens routinely, so you got to watch your fingers on those things.
Right.
As long as everything's down, you can see what's going to happen here where the moving parts are.
Right.
Keep your hands out of the way of that, and you should be good. Now let's talk about cocking that thing. Where's your rope? What do we do with that?
I don't know.
It's right there on your leg.
I have it. I'm wearing it. Get this dude off of here. Oh, great. Yeah, okay.
Thought you already had a knot in it.
Put that in Genevieve's chair.
Thanks, Dad.
This is a nice cocking rope. This is a very familiar looking cocking rope. It looks identical to the one that I've used for more than a decade with old Bunjie, the original Bunjie. So this shouldn't be too bad. I'm betting they go, why don't you stand up, Mr. Burns? We're going to stand up. Stay right over here. Genevieve, you can get where you can see. Zoom right in on the crossbow. Hold, what you're going to do, put that guy in the ground. You got a stirrup. The stirrup goes on the ground, yep. And then you're going to put probably your left foot in the stirrup. I always did the right foot because I couldn't reach down here because of my big belly. But do you feel like you can reach down to grab these ropes when you're going to need to? You probably can. And then, see that groove right there?
Yeah.
Groove right here? That's going to ride in there.
Ah.
See what I'm doing?
Yeah,
This goes
yeah.
down, this goes down. Boom. Now, I can tell you already, this is way too long. It's getting caught on everything in its brother here. We don't need that. Probably don't need the quiver on there at all. But it can be cocked the way I have just showed you. You want to reach down and grab those. Hold them a little bit. Cut one little kick, or tip. Make sure those are in tight against the rail before you pull up.
Okay.
That's the key. And you're going to pull, see it
Gotcha.
already moved out. So you got to pull your hands tight and your hands back in good so that you're pulling straight back toward this. This is your target. You're pulling up, trying to pull that rope straight up toward that.
Gotcha.
That makes sense?
Yep.
Make sure it's on fire, too.
And we want to make sure it's on fire. Genevieve's pretty smart with this.
So you got to pull it straight up.
Yes.
All the way up to here?
Yeah, you're going to pull it back. Yeah. And if you can't do it, you can slowly let it down. What you can't do is just let go of it. Don't do that. If you feel like you can't get all the way up,
That's not going anywhere.
okay, let her down. Let her down. Not a problem. Perfect. Okay, what we're going to do is we are going to shorten, let go of that. Let right go of it. And work that over. We're going to put a little knot in here. In fact, I'm even going to shorten it up more than that. Give you a little extra leverage. Are you zooming in on the knot, not on my bald head, Genevieve?
I'm trying. Takes up a lot of the screen.
Oh, nice. The knot you're talking about? The big knot that I'm telling you?
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, let's do that. Now, what I did is I shortened this, and once we've determined the appropriate length for your rope, here, grab that. You're going to lift up on the string, sort of put that hook on here. You see what I'm talking about? You grab the string. Yep, put that under, let go. Now let's put them both in. Now you've got a head start on it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
And stand up, stand up. Don't use your arms. Just stand right up.
There you go.
You are cocked.
Yeah.
Lock. Yep. First thing you do, let's get that safety on, which it is on already. This one automatically came on. That's pretty cool. It automatically came on. It already has the safety on. Pretty slick. Just remove your hooks. And it's good to look at to make sure that safety's on. I would throw that in your pocket where you know where it is, or put it someplace where you don't lose it. Now this is cocked. If you were to take the safety off, it could fire. So you want to keep your fingers out of this area. We don't ever stick our fingers anywhere near that now. Okay. And let's get have a seat. We're like cowering under the shade here, trying to use up all the shade we got.
Meanwhile, I'm in all of the sunlight.
Yeah, you're younger though. You're younger than me. That's what my dad used to say. Why don't you take that bad boy and get that quiver off of there? Because you really don't need that on there while you're shooting. Do you know how to take it off? If you don't know how to take it off, we'll just leave it on there for
I don't know how to take it
Or
off.
we're going to need an arrow though. We need to pull an arrow out of there. That came out pretty easy. All right. Now, first thing you do with these, you can hear it jiggling a little bit. You got to tighten that up. Tighten up that dude. Okay.
All right.
This appears to, you got a half moon knock. Genevieve should be way closer than that. She should be right in here. She should walk over here.
I'm zoomed in.
And you can actually see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Zoomed in. This is a half moon knock. It looks like to me, or I guess that's what they're called. And it has this is your cock feather. These are your hen feathers. So this goes down in the flight groove. And if it does, you just want to give it, always look at it to make sure that it looks like the string is going to sit in that groove. Do you follow me? So that should be perpendicular to this.
Gotcha.
So this slides up there. It'll slide into place, gripping the string. And that way when it goes down the flight groove, that string can stay on it and apply equal pressure to that arrow the entire length of the flight groove. So every time you're shooting it, unless you're switching arrows, unless you get them refletched or whatever, or buy a different brand or something like that, but you got to be careful doing that. But you should always be looking at two orange ones in the flight, sticking up, and then the white one in the rail, in the flight groove. So the two orange ones should be visible on the flight deck.
Gotcha.
Well, let's see if we can put it in there. You want to put it on here first?
Okay.
That's probably a good idea. Lift her up in the air. Can you get it up in the air? And I'll take the arrow. Give me the arrow so you're not fidgeting with stuff. Fiddling around. Okay, that ain't gonna work. Let's get that farther up. It'll work. Put like this part in there, some part of the barrel. That'll work, and then that can sit like that. You can go even further forward. That'll work. You see what I'm doing?
Gotcha.
Every one of them sits there a little different. This isn't as adjustable as I'd like, and they make other tools for this,
Gotcha.
which may have been delivered. I bought a what do they call that? Death grip, something or other. I got a different kind of tripod coming. We're gonna play around with. We'll see how that works. So you look like you're in pretty good shape here. What you're gonna do next? And you got the scope on there. You're happy with that so far?
So far.
I mean, it looks like you can look through there and you can see what would be described as a 20-yard reticle. Don't let that fall off of there, that crossbow. Don't shoot it because you don't have an arrow in there.
Yeah, right about there.
You
A little short, but I can lengthen it out with this. That's about right there.
You're looking at the target. Feels good.
Well, actually, I'm way up, but here's a target.
Oh, you can don't lift the crossbow up unless that feels comfortable. You can always just lean into this thing and bully this thing around, and it'll go where you want it and stay where you want it. You see what I mean?
Oh, nice. All right, it's got a whole bunch of lines in there.
Okay. Is there a middle to all those lines? The very center of it?
There sort of is.
Now you can adjust if you look right here. This.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can adjust that. It'll make it less blurry if that matters to you. If it's not blurry, it doesn't matter. Does that make sense?
Yep. Now here's what I got. I got 1, 2, 3. I got 4 lines going this way.
Yep.
And 1 going up.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm not sure which is the center.
All right, let
We've
me
got
see it.
4 lines.
Let me see that. Just lift that whole thing up. Get your finger out of there.
Eh.
Get your hand down. Get your hand down. Don't put your finger in front of that string. Okay? You follow me?
Gotcha.
Yep. Or you're still doing it on the foregrip. Yep. That thing's live, and you've got a lot of, like, anything. This could happen. You know, you don't get your fingers in here at all.
Right.
Not through here and nothing, you know. Oh, okay. I see what we got. That's not so bad. Your top one is 20, okay? And it's 20, 30, 40, 20, 30, 40, 50. So we're going to sight this in as though your top one is 20. There you go. You can stick that back in the, get your hand under the foregrip there. Yep, whatever feels comfortable. Yep, we'll get that in here. Now, hold on. I think, now let's look. Let's take a look over here real quick where I am. Forget about the scope. That string, when it goes forward, is going to stay on that rail and hit those bumpers. Do you follow me?
Gotcha.
It's never going to go below the rail.
Gotcha.
Right. And then the cables are up there, but nothing's going to hit that finger at the very front.
Right.
I'm talking about of the stand.
Gotcha.
Do you follow me?
Okay.
You feel comfortable with that? It's
I hear
not
you.
gonna hit that. I
Okay.
just want to make sure. I think that's the case. I think you're good.
Okay.
But it doesn't hurt to take a reality check of what we're looking at here and see what happens. So,
Okay.
100 grain field point. We're going to see what happens. You can go ahead and load this. Your top one is your 20. So that white target out there, that's 20 yards.
I don't know how to load it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be an idiot, but
All right.
I don't know if you put my fingers in there.
I'm going to swing around here and I'll just demonstrate for you. So what we already looked at it to make sure that the half moon knock is lined up perpendicular to the cock
Right.
feather.
Right.
We're going to hold it by the very end because you don't want to put your fingers in here. So what we do is we sit the knock in the flight group.
Gotcha.
We're going to drop the cock feather into the flight group. We're going to slide it back. So now it's laying in the flight group, but it is not loaded because I haven't pushed it all the way back. And then we're just going to push it back all the way till it stops. And now it is loaded. You follow me?
Gotcha.
It's still on safe, but when you take it off safe, pull the trigger, it'll fire. And it'll shoot that arrow down range.
Okay.
So it's in there good. You just want to make sure that they sit in there good. If you were sitting all day and hunting,
Right.
these don't snap on. Some of them snap on, some don't. Like my old one did not snap on. It's held on. There's a little finger that sticks down inside this Picatinny rail right here. Little tin finger that sits down and sort of rides on the arrow to hold it in place. But if that were to fall out and get a little bit of work its way down the rail, you could dry fire the crossbow. You follow me?
I gotcha.
So it's important to, if you were hunting, periodically you'd want to reach down carefully and just make sure that that's still there. And keep your fingers out of there, because, you know, if this fired, these veins, if they pass through your finger, they'll cut your finger open.
Yeah, I know.
You know, this is a dangerous piece of equipment along the
It
way,
is.
so you just got to respect it and you'll be fine. I think we're good to try one at 20. Now you've got reticle, right? The top one is 20. So where this and this top one intersect, that's 20.
Okay.
That's your bead. Put that bead right on the center of that target, the white target,
All right.
and fire away. You can stand back here, Genevieve, behind him. We'll see what it makes out. Here we go. Moment of truth. Just breathe carefully, and you got to take it off. You got to put it on fire, which is right there. When you're ready, you would do that.
Top.
The top
Center.
reticle, yep. Now, not the very top of the scope. The very center of the scope is what I'm talking about. You follow me?
Very top line.
The top horizontal line. Yes.
All right. That's my safe.
Yep.
All right, this is moving around a little bit. Let's get it down a little bit.
You want to walk down there, Genevieve, and give us a report?
Yeah.
You hit it. Dark.
Okay. It is. Dad. It's down here.
Whoa! All right. Well, we'll get your.
Okay.
Can you pull it?
Yeah, probably.
So we were real low. We got to crank her right up, get it up higher, which is fine. That's not a big deal. That doesn't mean a thing at this stage. You've got windage and elevation. This one, when you adjust it, and it says there's an arrow with the word up. If you crank it this way, it's going to basically raise those reticles up. Actually, it's going to raise the reticles down, but it's going to adjust the reticles so that your shot will go up. This is your windage. In other words, it's going to pull left and right. At this stage, we were a little bit to the right. Am I correct?
Yeah, not very much.
Not very much, though. So if I turn it this way, clockwise is going to go to the left. We're just going to turn it a couple clicks to the right, okay? And we'll see where we're at. Okay. Now, this one needs to go up quite a bit. This one says 1 click is 1/4 inch at 100 yards, 10 yards, 100 yards. What? Jeez, so crank all day for this, because at 20 yards, I don't know.
Just start turning.
We'll just turn it a bunch like that. Let's see what happens. We cranked it up a little bit. We're going to fire again at that target and see what happens. You want to, let's take the quiver off, so that's not in the way and affecting you. We can set that off to the side.
Okay.
I would hold on to the hooks.
The hooks?
Yep.
Okay.
And then just sort of lean forward with those hooks, put that around there and pull it tight, and then just lean forward with the hooks and slide it right down. All the way back, right there. There you go. Yep, put one on. Yep. Yep. Put the other dude on. You gotta pull the string up probably with your other hand. Yep. And then sort of finagle them where they look like they're in a good spot. The handles where you like them. You know, eventually you're going to cut that extra piece of string off if you like that location.
Gotcha.
That makes sense?
Yep.
You got it on fire, and you're just going to reach down there and stand up with it. Well, let's see my 30 clicks that I put on that thing. We'll see what it does. I can't get over how quiet that crossbow is. It is not a very loud contraption.
Yeah, compared to mine.
Compared to what we've been used to. I think crossbows in general have gotten quieter and quieter and quieter. I like how, did you notice how he just adjusted it so it didn't cant, Genevieve?
Yeah.
Very important, Pat. One thing that, the biggest reason people are inaccurate with crossbows, one of the biggest reasons is canting. And that means that, you know, you got wide enough limbs where you can tell, you kind of want them level. Not level with the ground, but level with gravity. Perfect. Slide it right back. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Oh, we moved it up some, man. It doesn't like to move up. You're way low. Like
Low?
Very low. Yeah.
Is it like in the same spot, Genevieve?
It's maybe a little bit higher.
Left goes this way. We want to move it to the left, am I right?
Yes.
So we'll turn that to the left.
Boy, my shoulder's getting sore.
Your scope isn't on there very tight.
It's not?
I can go get the Allen wrenches.
Yep. So far, able to cock this thing real easy. That's pretty cool. It's quiet. I can't get over that. I don't care for the scope, how many times you got to turn it in order to get some purchase off of it, some kind of change in the elevation, change in the windage. Doesn't seem to adjust an awful lot with just that. We tightened it up a little bit. I had Genevieve went and got a penny, and we tightened it up on the rail a little bit in case that's affecting its ability to sort of hold and adjust the scope, because this is brand new, just put together for the first time. That happens. So we're going to see what happens now. Cocked it again. We're going to throw another arrow down range at the bulldog and see what happens. Maybe.
Sorry about that.
We can edit that out. Made almost no difference. It's kind of funny how
That's what I was thinking.
Little reaction you're getting out of it. But that scope actually reads 1/4 inch at 100 yards. Like, that tells me you got to crank this thing all day in order to get a reaction out of it. That's just the way it is. So let's crank. We're going to go to up. You got to make sure you crank it the right way or undoing what we're doing. We're just going to crank that a couple of turns all the way around.
I just turned it 180 degrees, so.
Okay. Yeah.
Then we're still in the bottom down here.
Genevieve, take it to the right again, or to the left again a little bit more. See, it is reacting.
I can't tell which way does it go to the left, Genevieve?
It's gonna go this way.
To the left, okay. So it needs, yeah. We're still.
We'll give it that.
Okay.
69 more. Caught in a rut. We need some Elvis, don't we, Genevieve?
No. Just keep turning.
I'm going to turn it one full turn. And that's what that is right there.
Just make sure it's the right direction. You know how many times I've actually turned it in the
Ah, it's down. No, I'm just kidding.
wrong now you don't know where you were. I've done that. I've been. Mine's only half a click. Like mine doesn't adjust that much, like anywhere near that. Yours
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
either, right?
No.
None of yours do.
Speaking of lube, is there a lube that goes on the string?
There is not.
Wax.
There's a wax that goes on. Yes. And before we're done, we'll wax it. It did have a. You want to every once in a while touch it and make sure it's a little tacky. That's all you need.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not. That's not actually providing any lubrication or anything like that.
I'm getting it.
Okay. What the hell is that? I guess it's what, that's backwards or something.
The Scorpyd. Pay no mind. Don't listen to him. There.
Okay.
So Genevieve brought out the Scorpyd, and we're gonna see if we can do Bunjie 3.0 here. Maybe shoot a little bit and show that off. We've got the original Bunjie. Look at that.
There you go.
Yeah, and we'll compare. Pat will. I'm surprised I didn't hear anything from you about how big that one is.
It is pretty big.
And that
have
is.
to go sideways through doorways with it.
It does?
It's 36 inches wide. Yeah, it's the width of a common commercial door. What do you think of that? So Mr. Burns has taken a shot while Genevieve was fetching a battery for the camera, and he has moved it into compliance.
Oh, I see that.
He's going to take another shot here.
Robin Hood.
Oh, man, I didn't break the arrow, did I?
You might have.
Here you go, kid. Why don't you take the camera with you?
Okay.
That target is sitting on a hand cart. So she's tipped the hand cart down and she's climbing up so she can pull straight up on those arrows to remove them. Makes it a little easier to pull them out. And we've got arrow pullers, grippy things that you can, one's a wrench and one's a sort of a tube you slide over the shaft of the arrow to pull straight up. Believe it or not, what makes those arrows stick in there so bad is it's heat. Those arrows are traveling so fast that they slightly melt the target around the arrow and kind of glue them in place. Once you break that seal, they actually come out a lot easier. It's the funniest thing. You get them, did you?
Yep. Getting better at it.
Oh, I think you're doing great. So he's going to do a little more clicky here because he almost Robin Hooded. He did not, in fact, Robin Hood them. But we're real close at 20 yards, so we're doing great with that. That's awesome. He's going to click it over a little bit. This scope, it's just the scope. It's not the crossbow, but the scope is a lot more adjustment than I'm familiar with. When we use Excalibur scopes, even on the Scorpyd, I've got that Excalibur scope, the Twilight DLX, on that crossbow, and it seems to like the crossbow. The crossbow seems to like that scope, but those are 1/2 inch per click at 20 yards. This is like a 1/4 inch at 100 yards. I don't know what the point of that is, but it does give you really, really fine adjustment. You just have to adjust it an awful lot. You got to crank it an awful lot in order to get a reaction out of that scope to accommodate those shots. So at 20 yards, you're cranking like, a full turn or two in order to bring it up that 6-8 inches that we had to bring it up, or a foot, more than a foot perhaps. But we bring it up that distance, and now it's dialed right in. We're within 1/2 inch of where we need to be. Pretty cool. So it does give you a more finite adjustment. I can see if you're going to stretch your shots out, we're not doing that today, but if you're going to stretch your shots out 70 yards, something like that, in the backyard, you're going to really want that extra adjustment. That's pretty handy. Pretty neat crossbow. So here's Mr. Burns holding the Scorpyd for the first time.
This.
What do you think of the comfort of that guy?
Oh, I like that. It's not front heavy. I like that.
Whole different style of crossbow.
Oh, I like that. Nice scope too.
That's the Excalibur scope. It's kind of a mix and match job here.
I like this. I think I could shoot this offhand. That's going to be a little bit more difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is odd looking. It's like a duck with its feet on backwards. You know what I mean? Yeah. I like this. Yeah, I do. I do.
The original, the one and only Bunjie.
You know, I feel like Zakk Wylde holding Randy Rhoads' guitar. It is kind of wide. Yep.
You don't get a trophy for the world's biggest crossbow.
This is pretty nice. These aren't too tight on this, right? It's not pulling. In other words, if I wanted to do this with mine, can I do that?
Yeah,
Even though it's
absolutely.
going to be a little pulley-backy thing?
There's very little tension here.
Okay.
On that string. It's pulling back just a touch. Just enough so it stores nice. Just enough so those hooks stay in place. That's how I store it. Original rope that came with it.
Okay.
I just leave it on there and it is always ready to go. And the only time it's not stored on this crossbow is when I'm getting ready to pull the trigger.
Gotcha.
After I cock it. Goes in my pocket. I had a good routine with this thing over a long period of time. No question. Now this is the older scope. It's still an upgraded scope. It's not the scope that came on it. But it's not as nice as the higher end scope that I got.
Gotcha.
Still does the job. Well, there he goes. There we go. There he goes. We had our opportunity to shoot in the backyard. I had my chance to play around with the Centerpoint crossbows. What a sweet crossbow that was, and what a good sport Pat was for coming out here and hanging out with us today. And it turned out pretty good. We actually had a really, really good time. So I hope you had a good time as well. Really do like the Centerpoint crossbows. What a great afternoon, though, to get a chance to see all the different crossbows. Or it wasn't really an afternoon, it was a morning, but it's getting into the afternoon. But to have an opportunity to see these different crossbows and the differences between them. And he even pointed out the difference between the nocks, Excalibur, the recurves, of course, shooting those flat nocks. And that was an eye-opener for him, as was the lighted nock. We talked about that a little bit. Pretty neat stuff, so I hope you got a kick out of that. And until next time, all hail Bunjie.